out and Vic can.
All right, recording in progress. There we go. And Chuck Hart has joined us. That's great. Hi, Chuck.
So start over again.
Okay, welcome. This is the September meeting of the Community Issues Committee of the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council. I had mentioned earlier, and will mention again, that Armando Balderrama has decided to resign from the board and the committees that he was serving on. He has much going on in his life, both positive and challenging, and we wish him the very best. He's a good man and a good citizen. And I'm going to move on to public comment, and I have some public comment, but I want to say hello to Gwen, and whose hand is up, and say hi, Gwen. What's up? If you're there, Gwen. There you are. Audio on. There you go. Hello.
Now I can unmute. How are you? I don't
Fine. Good.
have a way of doing the audio. Yeah, public comment. So I decided to visit you guys because there's been a lot of talk on the social medias about the park over, I'm calling it the Gateway Park, the park that's being created just off the 110 freeway.
Where is that, Gwen? What park?
I'm calling it the Gateway Park. I know it's got another name, something like the Triangle Park or something of that nature. But, as you get off the 110 freeway and you see all of the landscaping that's being done to the right as you come into town.
All right. My first question is it in our neighborhood council or central?
Well, it kind of, I believe it's in central, but it still is part of, from what I understand, Ryan and Jacob Hake used to give lots of updates to Northwest on the park. And the last time they spoke, there was discussion about connectivity, connecting it to not only Bandini Canyon Park, but to Leland Park, and by extension, Peck Park. That is a continuous thing. So I only wanted to ask that we invite Ryan and Jacob. Haven't seen them recently really talking about much, but if they could specifically talk about that park, because it also, the last time I heard an update, there was supposed to be a grand opening soon, that they are near completion. And since many people in the different communities, because it's right there at the freeway, are impacted by it and curious, I think it would be good to have them discuss it at their next public officials report.
Excellent. Duly noted. Thank you. Vic?
Just a quick item on the Science Center, since it's not officially on the agenda this time.
Yes.
The Laugh House has a bunch of wooden tables in it that are years and years old. And of course, the Laugh House is open to the elements. So they are, in one case, literally falling apart. So I have gotten the specs on the size of the tables that Lawrence Daniel wants, and have sent those to the CTE instructor at Polis High School to see if that's something that they could do as a part of the project that their woodworking CTE students can work on. Haven't heard anything back. I only sent this yesterday, so I haven't heard anything back yet. But if anybody knows of any other possibilities, if this falls through, let me know, and I can check with other people if needed.
Point of clarification only, not a comment. Are you referring to, are these like planting tables?
They're Planting in as much as there are plants on them, but they are not tables in which to plant plants.
No,
They're just
but like
more like work, I guess you'd call them workbenches.
So they're
work
potting
tables,
benches.
work benches. Okay,
They're
got
potting
potting benches. Thank you. Okay, that's good. Thanks for that comment. And moving along, I don't see any other hands.
Well,
By the way, we do have a quorum. Gwen,
of course.
is your hand up again?
Yes, it is.
All right,
Vic, did you say that the potting benches are available?
Gwen, no, can't go further than that. This is public comment.
Okay, well,
Thank
then my public comment is Peck Park. I was wondering if the park was able to get the funding to pull the shopping carts out of the stream.
Let's, again, duly noted, but no comment. Thank you. I got that. All right, and I will note that we're recording this. We have a quorum and we press on. Oh, on my screen, John DeMeglio is Paul Lind. He's the center square on the Hollywood Squares here. John DeMeglio. All right. My comment is that the 3 or more statewide bills that Diana talked about have passed and been signed by the governor. And these are the bills which alter the relationship of homeowners and their property to the neighborhood in which they live and the city in which they live in a way that has never happened before. This is, I don't recall if they're Assembly Bill or Senate Bill 8, 9, and 10, which effectively peel off a lot of the authority of the cities to zone for housing and that sort of thing, and will allow homeowners or landowners to add units on their existing size lots, existing property. My comment is that this will change things dramatically over time. Not immediately, perhaps, but it's something we will need to deal with as homeowners and community members for a long time to come. I think it's safe to say that properties like mine, which is a small 60 by 90 or 60 by 100 foot lot, I'm not going to have room to build a lot of additional units, certainly not a quadruplex, but maybe a duplex. And we're going to see some interesting development in the years to come. One of the scary things, in my opinion, is that height restrictions are almost non-existent. You'll see some very tall buildings going up. I think this is the kind of thing that went on in San Pedro during the 1980s, when so many apartment buildings and fourplexes and duplexes were built in old neighborhoods, old family single residential unit neighborhoods. Another place for a really stark view of it is if you drive over to the beach area and drive through North Redondo Beach, basically everything above 190th Street, moving up towards the freeway on the north and east, and to just east of the Coast Highway. There are dozens and dozens of streets that began as small single family developments years ago, prior to World War II even, and which have become a real hodgepodge of very large and modern fourplexes, duplexes, and some remodeled homes, and a lot of the original homes, which tend to look ramshackle. It's an experience to see it, and it's a vision of things to come in our area. It has happened, and we will be interested, I think, as San Pedrans and as Angelinos to watch what happens. It's like anything else, it's not all bad, but it's certainly not all good. That's that comment. Thank you. Now, moving along to item 3, John Barbera. Let's see who's joined us. We have Chuck. Hi, Chuck. Hi, David. Good. John Barbera. Is there actually a new piece of information about the skate park?
Yeah, what Axel wrote to me a couple of days ago, he says the skate park is now in transfer of jurisdiction phase, and they're waiting for the mayor's signature now to make this official. It looks like everything will take place, and they're saying that they're gonna start here on this latter part of the year, but all they're waiting now is the mayor. The insurance went through and all that. So once the mayor signs it, it's ours. So it could be, they're saying that to start working, they're looking at towards the latter part of this year. He's hoping by November that he signs it and everything before he goes to Europe or does anything else. But that's all they're waiting on now. So insurance wise, that's been taken care of, he said. So now it's just his signature and his blessing, and
Well,
that's it.
That's a major achievement then. That's good.
Yeah, so.
And again, there's both good and bad in a development like a skate park, mostly good, I would think.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it
Yeah.
just seems like it's a drag on, but we'll see, you know.
Yeah, well, it certainly has dragged on, but that's a good thing. Item 4 is the train noise situation. It is part of a larger package of items relating to the community's relationship with the port, but it's certainly an important one. I have somehow I've become a member of the port committee, and Craig and Christian are the co-chairs of that. I'm the only actual member. They're the co-chairs, I'm the member. Well, here comes my friend the dog, excuse me.
There are
Morning.
other members.
Pardon me? I know them. Your correction is right. I was sort of kidding. Anyway, there will be questions of overlapping interests between committees and our neighborhood council. And I think for the most part, we would agree that joining together with other committees and other neighborhood councils to be the most effective that we can be is probably a good thing. And that's, I believe, the discussion of where this push to reduce train noise, how it will be handled from here out, I think is still up in the air. The goal is still the same, reduce train noise. The question is how best to get an effective result from our friends at the port. And I think if the port committee can lead the way with its imprimatur of knowledge about the port, I think that's a good thing. So I apologize. I know I blather a lot, but this dog is really kind of tough. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful that we'll have effective. Oh, saved by my fabulous wife. Angus, go see mom. This is we're seeing how they make the sausage here at our house. Thank you, dear. Thanks so much.
Go.
Thanks so much.
Go. Come on.
No, just gotta make sure he actually leaves the room.
Oh, you know what? It's your toy. Here is it.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you, lady and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Item number 5 is the ongoing discussion of traffic congestion on Western Avenue between First to 9th Street, with particular emphasis on the Weymouth intersection. We've had a real specific letter from a couple of stakeholders, letters, I guess, detailing the problem. And for those of you who spend any time on Western Avenue, you're better at understanding this than I am. The traffic backs up because of the light sequencing at those at First and
Dan, I can help you with that.
Weymouth and also 9th Street. Please go ahead, John.
Yeah, on Weymouth, like today, every week I work at least once or twice a week. I'm there at, doing bullying or this and that, at the Assistance League. Last couple of weeks, I've noticed that, like today I got there about 9:45. Well, I was probably just past First Street, and I was maybe just 2 cars past First Street, and I was waiting in line to turn. I mean, that's how bad it gets to make a left on Weymouth. And
You're speaking of going south.
I'm going
on West
south
Street.
and I'm going to make a left onto Weymouth. Well, like I said, I just passed First Street and everybody that was in that left lane. So I went 2 cars past the crosswalk on First, and I was stopped there, and it took me 3 times to finally make that left turn.
In the parlance of
It is I mean, I guess at certain times, maybe because it's starting to get close to lunchtime, but it was traffic. And then I noticed that people going to make a right turn from Weymouth onto Western and go towards, Park Western and Capitol. That line can get a little bit busy there too. When I left there at today at 3:20, I was probably the 8th car to make a right.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
are you talking about cycles? The red light, you had to wait 3 cycles?
Yes, I had to
Wow.
wait. I had to wait 3 lights, David. It seems like maybe 6, 7 cars went the first time. Then another 6, 7 cars, maybe, And I think we need that whole light system is messed up over there.
Yes.
Then you got to wait. The people coming from what is it on the right? If you're going to make a left onto Weymouth from Western, if you were to make a right instead, is that still Weymouth going up the hill?
No, it changes names.
It changes. Well, whatever that street is, they're coming down from the hill. They have like 2, 3 cars that make a left or go forward, right? But then we're still there for another 40, 50, 60 seconds sometimes.
Yes.
Before it
This
changes to,
You're narrating a story that has been unchanged for years. And it's been dinked around with and played with and tinkered with, but there's never really been a solution. The folks who live on that uphill side that you just described.
That's Dave Place.
Yeah, they've been up in arms about this for a long time. As we've said in the past, that intersection is controlled by multiple agencies. And somebody mentioned, Gwen mentioned Jacob and Ryan at the council office earlier. This is a perfect opportunity to pass along the letters I spoke about to them and to make inquiries on behalf of the committee to them about what's going on there. Because I know that if we're getting letters, the council office also gets letters. So it's a difficult intersection. And by the way, John, the description of waiting through 2 or 3 signals, the Department of Transportation itself calls that a grade F intersection. And there were a bunch of them worried about when Ponte Vista was being contemplated. Most of those grade F intersections still exist up on the north end of town. Some of them do. The situation has been improved there by signalization and adding some lights here and there and some extended left turn times and that sort of thing. So it can be modified, but the good news is, since it should easily qualify as a grade F intersection, I believe that kicks a level of responsibility in that requires DOT or the other controlling agency to look at it for solutions. So I just wrote a big grade F on my paper here.
Well, it's a
And,
good thing that they use the letter F, you know, and then they add the rest of the letters to it because it is.
Yeah, right. Vic Christensen, yes, sir.
Just for completeness, it is a similar name. If you make that left as described, it is South Weymouth Avenue. If you make a right, it is West Weymouth Place.
Oh,
So it
okay.
is still Weymouth, but there's a
sorry.
few caveats.
I was thinking of the top of Capitol where it becomes Trudy. Thank you. Thank you. You're right, of course. Very good. And so we need to look into this. It's a quality of life issue, and it is something that people face every day, especially as we ramp up again from the pandemic, or ramp back down as the case may be, and then ramp up again. It's something that needs to be looked at. Gwen Henry.
By extension, that Weymouth left-hand turn, that light, it also is complicated by First Street and the intersection at First Street.
Exactly.
And you know, one of the discussions that keeps coming up is that it isn't just that congestion for that left-hand turn intersection is going to get more difficult, and you've got those two groupings that makes it really awful. But First Street is going to continue to become a thoroughfare for large volume traffic to get to the 110 freeway. It already is pretty complicated. I live right near it, and there are accidents all the time.
Do you anticipate it being the volume that's there now growing much from what it already is?
Much so. I think I sent something on to John that it also won't be just that. It'll be Capitol, it'll be Westmont, and 9th Street. I believe all of them will start to really create a flow over to Gaffey. And so I hope that when there's studies for traffic and you know, traffic lights and timing, that First Street also be considered.
Is it anybody's feeling that the building of Ponte Vista contributes to this, because people who ordinarily would stay on Western or come back down Western if they're coming from the freeway will skip that and come up from First Street? Or is that sort of what it is? I don't know. Driving up First Street right now seems pretty daunting.
I think Ponte Vista is probably going to get more traffic shortcutting over to Mary Star. I mean, not Mary Star. Yeah, Mary Star.
The school,
Too many
yeah.
Marys. Too many Marys. And then,
Well, but that,
but
yeah.
also over to Palos Verdes Drive North, and probably Westmont. Those will be impacted.
Okay. Okay. John DeMeglio. Yeah, hi, there you are. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say same thing. They're either gonna go PV Drive North and take a right down to the freeway that way, or they're gonna go down Westmont or Capitol. Deciding, you know, depending on what's easier and faster. And the thing is, it's gonna be to look at is in the morning when people are going to Mary Star, is that turning lane coming from, let's say, Harbor City in, is that long enough? For all the kids that are gonna be going to that school.
Are you speaking of coming south on Western?
Yeah,
they're
going
to
down
the
from
school
Harbor
road?
City into San Pedro, taking a right into the Mary Star entrance. I think they should have extended that a little longer, but
Oh.
we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. Chuck Hart, if you're there and can turn on your speaker, your microphone, is it your impression that Mary Star is its student body at full strength now?
Say
I
that
don't-
again. You're wrong.
What is, I assume Mary Star's traffic is suppressed right now by the continuing COVID restrictions, but that school is fully built out, is it not? It's complete.
Basically, yes. There's more in the future, but right now, yes.
Oh, there may be more in the future? Okay.
Yes. But it's office building.
Oh, I see. So the traffic that John is referencing, kids coming in both north and south on Western to get into that street, Avenida Prenda or whatever it is. I don't know. It's just Western seems to be a continuous necklace of difficulties, of stops and starts, and the building of Monte Vista required the developers to improve traffic throughout the area at a huge number of intersections. 23, I think, were involved, and I think there has been some effect. But what Gwen was referencing about building traffic building up even further at First and Western, and ultimately Weymouth and Western. I guess it remains to be seen, but we need
Yeah,
to be
but
in
John,
touch.
but John is right, though. You've got two entrances. One, when you come, they've got the left turn lane to go into, I believe, Ponte Vista's driveway, right, John? And then after that light is the light that turns to go to Mary Star.
You're
And
right.
every morning, okay, my wife, and like I drop to take the car, I'll drop off. There's the left turning lane to go on to PV Drive. A lot of times I stay straight at 7 o'clock, 7:05, because the line is huge. And you know that school, when everything opens up rightly, there's going to be a massive traffic right there, both, turning left on to go to Mary Star and to turn to go into those housing. You're talking 700 and some houses that are going to be built there. Picture
Right.
the people, the amount of families, and how many cars are going to go in and out of that place. You've just cluttered a 2-lane highway. You're going to clutter it up. I don't know if they did the survey right, but I mean, what do you think, John? I mean, is it right? I mean, it's
Yeah. Well, let me elaborate on that. You also got the students, because it's an open enrollment at Dotson. So you got those
Dotson,
cars coming down, and it's all going to bottle up right there. It's going to be interesting to see. And then you got Taper. Taper is also an open enrollment school. So you got, when my son was in Taper, there was a lot of people coming from Harbor City area and that area to enroll, and Wilmington, to enroll themselves in Taper. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Stop signs may not.
Yeah,
Cut
sure
it.
it is.
Why don't we wait and, I'm sorry, why don't we wait and see?
Sure. No, we're gathering information, but all the things that John and Gwen have described are coming to an intersection near us, and it certainly bears watching by us. Vic, yes, sir.
Yeah, and you've got from Dodson, you have mostly coming down Delisand and Avenida Prenda.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
because of the road diet on Westmont, even now, the traffic is backing up around school hours.
Right.
So that combined with the Mary Star, combined with the Ponte Vista, when that's especially fully built out, all that is gonna cause a lot more traffic. And all that is going to lead to slower traffic going down toward the First Street and Western, the Weymouth and Western, and just the whole length.
Absolutely. Good. Thank you for that. And this is a reminder to me of why Pat Nave, now 15 years ago, suggested that the property be used for a golf course. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So
If
the whole
you- if
Western
you're
Avenue
gonna-
traffic question.
If you're gonna want to get out of town during those school hours, you're gonna want to take a different route, probably Gaffey and out. But we'll see how, like I said, we're not gonna find out what happens.
Yes. Yeah, it's a there is a wait and see element here. We were told that early on in this, that by traffic authorities, that Gaffey was underused. We're now beginning to see that it's not so underused anymore if you're on Gaffey at 4 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon. So yes, it is a waiting game and just something certainly to be aware of. There are a lot of elements in play. Gwen, one last comment on this question?
I would add to the watch and wait Summerland, of course. Summerland, because that's a straight shot off the 110 freeway.
Yes.
As well as back up to difficulties and potential for accidents up once Ponte Vista is created. Just another sit and wait and watch. There are 2 inlets to the Albertsons parking lot area and to the condo, the very narrow, long condo complex that's directly adjacent to it, that's between Ponte Vista and Albertsons.
Yeah, the tennis club.
Those two left-hand turns are going to be a serious concern. I already, I use it on an occasion, and it is a dangerous prospect even now. You have to be very, very cautious if you're going to use that to go into the opposing traffic and crossing.
Right.
crossing
We
the
tried
road.
very hard to get it put on the list to be signalized, but it's just too close to Avenida Prenda. They would not, the DOT, Caltrans would not consider it as part of the package. And so those 4 folks are there, and we will see the result. Although you could argue that the tennis club and that big 5 or 6 story apartment building there and the other units are fully built out and presumably pretty full. So that in and of itself will not get much worse, except as it relates to increased traffic snarls on Western Avenue. So it's a trick. Chuck Hart, please.
Yeah, let's just build more apartments. Build more at the south end of town. That's a wonderful idea. Build more.
Well,
Stupid.
Chuck, the state's doing its damnedest to make sure that happens. So, yeah, we're with you, my friend, I think.
That's
Yeah, Gwen, one more.
Yeah. Oh God, now I'm spacing. It was important. Oh, Ponte Vista, right. Forgive me, you might have already discussed this, but at one time, a truck went right through the fence and right into the backyard of one of those nice luxury homes right at the front. I did take pictures. I kind of forwarded them to Diana, but I was wondering if you guys had ever been aware of that, and if they were going to bolster the barrier from just a
Oh, God.
iron fence to something a little bit more secure, because it literally fell through the fence into the yard. And if it was going faster, it could have gone into a window.
Sure. Well, it's a good point. It's an illustration of the old maxim, if you build it, they will run into it. This can happen anywhere on any street in America. It happened I think next door to John Barbera's a few years ago. Car went through the wall, and it was scary. If people had been standing by the wall, they'd have been hurt. So I would say that's a question for the developers and the ensuing lawsuits by the homeowners. So it's a good point, but you could ask the same question about virtually any block in America that backs onto a main thoroughfare. Let's see. Oh, the next item. This is from somebody's wish list, and we always like to include a wish or two here in our musings. Someone, a stakeholder, presumably, wrote a letter that, and I'm sorry I don't have it with me, complaining about the condition of the center medians on Western Avenue from the Pacific Coast Highway to the Pacific Ocean. And this again, this kind of question comes up every now and then. What are you going to do about such and such? And if it has anything to do with Western Avenue, we have to look at multiple agency responsibility for that street. Part of it is Caltrans. Part of it has been ceded by Caltrans or conceded back to the city of Los Angeles. So we can't ever speak of anything as a continuous soluble item in terms of one municipality making a decision to solve a problem. I guess as I drive through San Pedro, one of my lesser concerns may be the condition of the center medians on Western Avenue. The fact is, we're not Santa Barbara, we're not Irvine, we're not even Pasadena, we're San Pedro, and we are a town that deserves respect, deserves to have nice things, but my guess is there are other priorities. My colleague John B. and I are going to make a meticulous study of the center dividers, at least from PV Drive down to the cliffs, and then we can put the question the stakeholder is asking into context, and we'll report back on that. It's probably the last thing in San Pedro that's going to be done, and you can argue a couple of different ways about that. Vic Christensen.
I know you don't have the letter in front of you, but was the gist of it that that the dividers look ugly and need to be prettied up, or that the old trees that used to be there have buckled the street, or what?
Well, probably a little of all the above, but they're ugly. They're ugly. That was the gist of it. They're ugly and ramshackle, and some cities that redo their center dividers put in sprinklers. Others just pave them over with concrete or asphalt. Probably we're somewhere in between. Some of the areas I know in front of Ponte Vista, haven't they planted some grassy stuff in the center divider? That's part of their package of improvements that they agreed to receive permission to build. Chuck Hart. Hello, Chuck.
John DeMeglio, are you okay? John?
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, what?
it looked like you were having some distress, but
No, I'm
you're
fine.
okay.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
good.
I'm alive.
Good. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks for good observation. We'll get back to that whole center divider thing later. The last item I have is considering the appointment of Pat Nave to our committee here. Pat brings a wealth of experience in a lot of matters regarding neighborhood councils. He has a lot of experience with the city, dealing with it, both good and bad. And I appreciate the fact that he's willing to split off some of his time to join us. The other news is he's not an elected member of the board, so we can appoint him without any controversy in terms of having too many board members on the committee. And if there's no objection, I'd like to put him forward for membership on our committee. If there is objection, we can take a vote, but I think Pat, he's a fine young man. And I think with a little work on our part, a little prompting, a little training, I think we can get him up to speed. And I think Pat has some very good ideas, very interesting ideas. Sometimes he can point out that there are other ways of doing things as well. So I think he'll be a valuable addition to our group. So if there's no objection, I'm going to appoint him, and this will be on the next full board agenda for just to approve his membership in our committee. Well, that's it for the moment. We're always looking for issues to get our teeth into, or to laugh a bit about, or to just talk in general about what we can do to help our neighborhood. I think the discussion tonight's been very useful about, especially with regard to traffic. And I will definitely be in touch with the council office and have a representative here next month to discuss these traffic situations, both the First, Weymouth, 9th, and Ponte Vista portions of Western Avenue. They can also tell us. They can also tell us about the jurisdiction along Western Avenue, who controls what with respect to center dividers and stuff. And so we'll ask one or both of them to visit us next month. And the public comments will certainly look at that. And if any of you heard a public comment that you can add some information to, or assist with who might be talked to, that would be great. There's 3 or 4 questions here that I intend to put to the council office. So hopefully we'll get some good input back from them. Chuck Hart, yes, sir.
Was it this committee? I raised a question about the cannabis thing going on Gaffey Street, saying that it's not within the
Yes, it was this committee. That's the 4th. Well, it wasn't number 4, but it's on my list of 4 questions for the council office to get back to us, hopefully before any further meeting. But I want to find out that the city has crossed its T's and dotted its I's with respect to that question, Chuck, with respect to whether it's suitably located. So it's on the list of questions.
And also if they open up the skate park,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
that's
that's what we're
about.
looking at. Yeah. So far, I mean, I made a couple of calls here about a week and a half ago, and so far they know nothing on them yet. They don't even, no one's moving in or doing anything yet. So we don't even know if they got all their papers and everything. So that's something we need to find out. Yeah.
Well, it's a super important question. Vic has done the Rand McNally work on the distance from the curb from the front door of the dispensary to the chain link fence around the skate park. So it's on the list of questions that'll go to the council office, and we will invite comment and invite them back next month to talk about a number of these things. So thanks for that. Another question, Chuck?
Nope.
Thank you. I want to thank Gwen for being here with a lot of useful information, and as always, thank you so much. And I want to say that it's just a pleasure serving on this committee with all of you. You're great people. You're what this city is
Well,
all
don't
about
stop.
in some ways.
Yeah, don't
All
stop
right,
there.
I'll
Keep
stop.
going. Yeah. just-
All right, shut off the recording. Anyway, thanks, everybody.
2-minute limit.
Yeah.
Have a pleasant week. By the way,
You
one
notice
one-
Vic's background looks like he's somewhere on the bridge in the dark.
well, yeah.
At
Well,
least John DeMiglio's got a nice
John DeMego has
background.
an
of-
identifiable bridge.
Yeah.
Big
You guys
sort of
there? We're
in
on
a
that
foggy waterfront.
How's it
Oh
going?
my God.
Thanks,
Oh my
Guy.
gosh.
I had a better picture. I get a picture of the ships that your washer and dryers are on.
Yeah.
Ah. Do they- Well, if they'll do laundry, that's great. I'm happy. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Take care. Have a good week. Oh, Gwen,
Oh, this was a technical issue. You can turn off the recording now. It was a technical question for those who have the controls. For when I'll have the controls.
oh, for your committee? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go
So thank
ahead.
you. Thank you for hosting such a wonderful meeting.
Sure.
Welcome.
So do you need to talk to, who's smart here, Vic or
Well,
John?
Well, I'm wondering, me as an attendee, can you move me to be a participant? I'm just wondering how that. if
Oh,
that-
that should have been, yes, that should have happened. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. I just wanted to know if that's possible. Okay, all good.
With this smaller group, you certainly should have been elevated to participant. So,
But anybody that's in attendees can be moved. What the host or co-host could do it,
Hmm.
and they move you across, like we do in the meetings. In the board meetings, when we have people, we got to move them. We just,
Well-
whoever's the host, and which is Chris and Vic and Christian, and now they can move them over.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the
it's-
Q&A, I'm wondering if the Q&A then disappears once you become a participant. Are you able to write? I know you can write a reply to questions.
now the
But I
Q&A
think
still
you can-
works.
Yeah,
I just typed something again, but
Yeah, you
and
wrote
it
test.
popped up.
but can you put information into it without a question having been raised? Like if
You
you
can-
had a link that you wanted to share it with everybody while discussing something.
As long as you copied that link and then you and paste it onto there, yes, it'll take, because that's what everybody else does when we have our meetings. They type in the link, they'll give you the www. blah, blah, blah. That's how everybody does it, instead of having somebody write it down.
Right, but well, could Vic right now share something in the
Question and answer?
I don't think it's possible. I do know that it is possible if it's set up ahead of time, but it's not necessarily the question and answer. There's also a chat window. I don't know if that's based on it being a different kind of meeting.
Okay, we don't have the chat anymore. I haven't seen chat in a long time. It depends on. I think
Oh.
everybody's using the Q&A.
All right.
I think the default setting that Dunn or whoever set up the Zoom accounts
Hmm.
has decreed is that it would be Q&A and not chat. I believe that's part of the default settings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so somebody would have to ask the question and then it would be shared through an answer in somebody's field. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the technical thingy.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everyone. John,
night,
don't work too
everybody.
hard, John.